Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new JJRC project. This is the X1G. So after the successful X1, probably the first cheap brushless racer in the toy ride market, this is the FPV version. So you will take the same ingredient, but you will add FPV camera, install as well the strong FPV transmitter. So let's discover the content of this new bundle. Okay, here is all the contents of this new packaging. So first of all, here is the quadcopter. So it's exactly the same X1 than the former model. So you will find this 1806 brushless motor. This comes in 2S edition. So no big change. Now you have this carbon style paint, but exactly the same plastic canopy structure. So with hard crash, don't expect miracle in terms of solidity, but I will say that the only main novelties are now the presence of some transparent caps to increase the light effect of these small LEDs present bottom. The bottom part is a little bit changed also to welcome the potential FPV camera. Here you can have this clip system. Okay, you have here to press to release the FPV camera, and here to hold to hook your FPV transmitter. Except that you have exactly the same ingredient. So no yet a visible USB port. It means that inside you will have exactly the same 4-in-1 board, so welcoming the power distribution board to offer a +5 volt, for example, for the flying controlling board. You have the all the ESC, located on the bottom part of the board. You can guess them inside the battery bay. You have all the FET, components associated with the ESC. You have a built-in receiver. It's also based on the good news. The good news, exactly the same radio protocol that's than the former X1, and you have the MCU, to offer the 6-axis stabilization. Props are some 6-inch, some exactly 60/40, no burn nose, but they are quite efficient. You have a set of spare one, in the bundle. That's always a good news. The landing gears, just need to be clips, no need to be a screw, but beware to not lose one in mid-flight. You have to really to insert well correctly. And except that, nothing else. You still have this 3-pin camera port. So for example, for the first edition you can plug the Cyma X5 FPV kit, but this port will be used to power both the new FPV camera and the video transmitter. So the video transmitter is announced to be a 32 channel, 40 channel, I can remember well. I will give you the exact reference in few instants, and it has to be a 350 milliwatts model. So quite strong to offer quite a long range FPV. But the radio protocol, as I said, is still based on the NRF2401 based RF chip. So the control range should not exceed more than 200 or 300 meters. You can expect a little bit more of control range if you flying this squad with a Devo 7A, for example, with a more strong, powerful transmitter chip. Except that, no real big change. The GPS antenna is a fake one. So what is coming? You have the same LiPo. So it's a 1300 powers, 2S ending with the GST connector. Can give you some weight if you want, but exactly the same than some former Xi'an toys quadcopter. So exactly the same. So 62.5 grams, to be more precise. So in the bag with the spare props, you can find a plastic wrench to lock your prop caps. That's good. A bag with a screwdriver and 4 prop cards. You have the screw to attach them on the body here. A power unit to recharge via the balancer plug your LiPo. And the transmitter, exactly the same model. Okay, so two shoulder button. The left one is to select one of the 3 speed mode: beginner, intermediate, expert mode. This one is assumed to offer 3D flips, but I'm not sure they are here. This one is to turn on or off video, but not with this FPV kit, because you cannot record inboard the video footage. Okay, so it's for example, if you plan to attach a Cyma X5 FPV kit, and here is not really well documented. I would say this button here is to tune the idle mode. So by default you are on the minimum 25% idle, okay, of the spinning motors, but if you press up you can increase, and this button can be used also to stop completely the motors. That's great. Except that, here are the left and right, forward and backward trim, and this is the yaw trim. Okay, no other button. This one are fake. I will say that the main novelty here is the way to harm or to disarm the quadcopter. Remember, for the former X1 there was an annoying procedure. Now it's much more simple, like any CC3D board or multi-wheel or NACE. You have to push the stick in lower or right position to harm, and lower or left to disarm the machine. Much more easier and conventional. So I check. It means that, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that the board is a more open based one. It's still a closed one. No possibility to, for example, to plug a serial port or something like this to plug into a ground station software, unfortunately. So what is coming now, the big novelties are now here. The FPV part. So let's, for example, focus on the FPV camera. So it's announced to be a 120-degree field of view, so you have a wide angle. The camera standalone weighs close to 20 grams. Well, it's not so light, but you have this camera mount to allow you to set the tilting. Okay, a linear antenna. Okay, in RP-ISIME connector, if I'm not wrong. The video transmitter. Okay, with the heat-sink and so on top, it's assumed to offer 350 milliwatts. Okay, and this one is, well, on the instruction manual. One word about the instruction manual, it's an horrible one. The English is so bad, it's almost impossible to understand. But you don't have the list of the frequencies supported. Okay, it's amazing. So 350 milliwatts. Okay, so 600 TVL, and the light sensitivity is not so bad. 0.01 lux announced. We will see if in practice it's true. Okay, so no table of the frequency, but I can say that the default one is the first of the Boscan one is the E1. You have this small button to select the frequency, and if you long press on it, you will select the band. Okay, so this cable to attach the video transmitter to the camera. You will see in a few instants. And this is the FPV monitor, so it's a basic 4.3-inch one, a brilliant screen. You have 400 milliwatts, one cellular LiPo to power it. Okay, so I will play it, and you will see no visible 5.8 GHz antenna, so it means that it's a built-in one inside. So we'll lock the. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to close the battery bay of these FPV monitors, so maybe I will look more like this. It will be more easier. So be aware, you don't have a lot of room to close everything. Okay, like this. And to power, you have to long press the power button. Okay, and you have a logo at boot. And after a few seconds, you will see the white snow. Okay. So you can guess immediately you have some OSD information, for example the label of the RSSI, you have here the logo of if you are more filming, or you can take some photos of your FPV flight, and the level of the batteries. Okay, so to power off you have to long press again, and it will go down. So if I long press again, we can enter into the menu to show what are the different settings you can have. The angle of view is not amazing, okay, but if I long press and press on logo, you can navigate into this option. So this one is to replay some recorded video, and this one to display some recorded photos. Here is to go to the real-time FPV view, okay, and the last two settings. So be aware of the navigation here are inverted, so if you want to go to the right, you need to press to the left button. It's strange, but it's like this, and you have to press on settings here to enter, and you have some basic display settings. For example, you can select the level of brightness, okay, you have to, and to go back, you have to press on menu, and you will return to the different settings, so enter. Okay, and you can select, for example, the auto power off, the language, and as advanced, you have the information of the current firmware software and the micro SD card inserted. Be aware, no micro SD card are provided. Okay, so you have to navigate like this, but not so many options available. Okay, that's a drawback. So I will power off, and on the right side you have also a micro USB, maybe to retrieve the recorded file directly from this port. Okay, so let's focus how to attach the FPV transmitter. So I will install first the FPV transmitter. You have some two hooks like this, so you have to just gently, okay, slide. You don't have to break them. Okay, like this. No, they are not rightly installed. Okay, like this is down. So to remove it, you have to also pull it gently. Okay, and you will be able to remove it. So be aware to immediately to attach your FPV antenna, because if you attach it without, you can cook immediately your FPV transmitter. Okay, and as you notice, this linear antenna, you have to bend it. It means that if you are flying forward view, you know that with such type of antenna, you have less emitted power in the axis of the antenna. So it means that if you are flying more horizontally, okay, you will have a poor FPV range versus if you are flying more in vertical plane, okay, because in this case the emitted radius sphere will be more compatible with vertical flights. Okay, so for horizontal flight is not the ideal choice. So I strongly advise versus time to install more small cloverleaf antenna. You have some small model, okay, not exceeding 3 or 4 centimeters, and it should be more adapted versus this kind of linear antenna. You have to pre-attach this type of cable. Okay, so you have a 4-pin connector one, even if the cable only use 3, but so you can really be brown. So I strongly advise to first attach the cable. Okay, so this one is probably here. Okay, and you have this one. Okay, like this. So to connect the camera versus the with the video transmitter, then you have to gently push like this. The camera is clipped, and you can tune after your orientation. Okay, and plug finally the power for both the FPV and the video transmitter. Okay, now it is possible to power everything. So you have to insert the battery bay. In the battery bay, the battery. Okay, and in fact, it's always good to do power without props, but no big risk here of motor spinning, since I won't harm it. So I will power everything, and as you can see, you have the effect of the light. So now much more visible, okay, more diffusing the light, so more, a little bit more compatible with night flight. And I will power the FPV screen, and you will see the result. okay, after a couple of seconds. So here is the result. So notice, look the frame rate offered by the FPV screen. You have 15 maximum, maybe 20 frames per second. It's a shame. And look, the lag and the latency. It's a nightmare. How it's possible? It's not compatible with FPV racing. Okay, it's not. Okay. Hey JJRC, what did you do? It's amazing to offer such quality. Okay, why it's like this? Because they wanted to add on this screen some OS information. For example, the fact that you are currently in the camera menu. If you press this one, you will turn into photo mode. Okay, and this one into the camera. Okay, you have the remaining time. Okay, of free on your microSD card, so to record. Okay, such basic OS information to display, introduce this extra delay, the frame rate drop, and basically this FPV monitor is not really compatible with the FPV. So the big open question is on the normal FPV monitors, do we suffer some such frame drop? And the answer is no. Look the difference. It's perfectly free. Okay, no, look the latency. You can see both. You can guess that the latency on this one is much more important. So this one is okay, and the field of view is nice, and look the light sensitivity is good. Okay, so you have really 120 degrees. That's great. Okay, that's good. But here with this one, not only you have some latency, some frame rate drop, and you will see that you have a micro SD card slot, so you can record through the built-in DVR your FPV flight, and you have one line over two are recording in VGA format, so 640 by 480, but only one line over two, only one line horizontal line over two. So that's really a shame that even the DVR is really poor in terms of quality. So it really it's a big shit. To make short. Okay, so and the light sensitivity. So what is happening if you are losing the signal? So I won't remove the antenna, but I'm pretty sure that it will turn into a black screen. I will perform some tests outdoors to check that point, but I'm a little bit afraid that some black screen will be here before the white node, so not really an FPV firmware friendly. Okay, so I will stop the FPV signal. Okay, at least the good news that with the real FPV monitors or goggles, you will be able to enjoy a clean FPV signal. That's great, and a powerful one. So at least this part is safe. Okay, but be sure that this FPV monitor is almost useless. How to attach it on your transmitter, you have to use this small element here, okay, like this, and you have to just gently lock the screws, and after it will lock the system, press this button to insert like this, and voila, it's installed. That's a good element, is maintaining well, so for this point is good. Okay, so you can use it to attach another FPV monitor with better performance for sure. Wonder about the flying characteristics, and one important question is this X1 still suffer from the bug? Okay, it's a non-bug from the first edition. When you have some lag, okay, for example, when you're yawing from left to right, you can have a delay between the that the order are taking into account. So I will say yes for mine, and you will see on the orders video, you still have some problem from yawing fast from left to right or right to left, for example. Sometimes the second command is not taken into account. So it means that the quadcopter, okay, when you press on the right, don't yawing to the right and stay in place, and even more, the motor can start to spin slower, and the quadcopter can lose some altitude. That's a real drawback. So it can happen with fast yawing left to the right or right to the left sometimes. Okay, I will try to highlight this phenomena in my others video. Another point I found also negative one is the deviation takes implementation. I found that the yaw command behavior is also word on the Devo controller is slower, and sometimes you have some erratic behavior in the yaw movement. No problem in the fast forward, backward, or left to the right. So I guess they maybe changed a little bit something in the radio protocol. So the new variation have to be hacked for the deviation take. So I would say that now the Devo hacking is not 100% working with this new variation. Okay, so I hope it will be solved relatively soon. Okay, so I will perform some small demo flight. I will try to record on the built-in DVR as well on the real one. You will see the difference in some of frame rate and quality. It's just amazing. So I will conclude. For me, they just take the stock of the former JJRC X1, what they had, and they had the FPV camera is not bad, the video transmitter as well, so it's not so bad, but the built-in FPV screen just a rebel, for sure incompatible with FPV flight, FPV racing flight. Okay, in high altitude, why not? You can still use it, but really the brightness is not amazing. The frame rate is killing everything, and I'm afraid that in case of video signal lost, the FPV monitor will turn into black. Okay, so I will check all that point in my orders of flight. So I will conclude. So I'm not super enthusiastic with this new version, especially for the yaw bag. Maybe it's the same bag, I'm not sure, but there is a strange thing on this yaw behavior. By the way, this quadcopter on the third speed mode is still very, very fast, so it's a really sporty one for sure. It's a fast quadcopter, powerful, punchy, that's great. But for this second edition, except the new arming and disarming command, they didn't try to solve this yaw bug. It's amazing how they can do. It's just a basic firmware problem to set some PIDs, I don't know exactly. So it was really basic to solve, no electronic change, just a new firmware to update. And it seems that they didn't do that, so, words. And, also all the FPV solution weighs close to 50 grams. The camera plus the antennas plus the video transmitter it's 47 grams, something like this. It's very heavy. Okay, so this quadcopter now weighs close to 300 grams everything. So you're going from 257 grams, if I'm not wrong, to close to more than 300 grams. So okay, I can maybe give some information about the weight. Okay, so you can see 313 grams, so much more, 15 grams more, so it's close to 20%, even more, 25% extra weight. So the flying duration will be considerably reduced, so expect less than 10 minutes now with this 1200 milliamps power LiPo. So I'm a little bit frustrated, okay? So they could offer an XK X251 competitors if they solve the yaw bugs, okay? Maybe by providing a little bit more lighter FPV kit, even if this one seems not bad, okay? But they're really, on the FPV monitor, they really took a cheap one, and unfortunately suffer of this big frame rate drop and really a latency close to or even more than 0.3 seconds. So just impossible to fly FPV in a racing mode. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please thumb it and expect my other video as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.